Okay, we're out doing an install. We're wanting to demo to you guys how to clean up messes on top of restaurant roofs. We got a lot of grease inside this area. We've got a burger exhaust fan. You can kind of see that over time the area has just gotten totally covered up with grease. You know, and then what will happen is as people come out and wash and things like that, that grease will get just splattered and carried all along these back edges. So what we're going to recommend to you guys is that when you come in and do your installs on your Driploc containment products, a good way to do a roof cleanup is to simply come in, and what we'll do is we're going to scrape up, like right here in this area. You know, the grease is pretty dry. We'll try and put a little bit of a scrape on that, and we'll show you that here in just a second. And then we're going to have to deal with this liquid type material. So instead of having to come in and power wash, this is a good alternative solution to how you can solve problems on top of these roofs by taking the acidic nature out of the grease, trying to take it from a liquid state down to a solid. So we'll be back with you here in just a second to kind of get started, but just trying to give you guys just a little bit of an overview real quick of what type of a cleanup that we're looking at. So alright guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to take and scrape up a lot of this grease that's already on the roof. If you kind of look here, we can take a lot of this stuff in its current state, kind of rake it back, and you can see we can peel a lot of this grease right off the roof. So what most guys will do is they'll come out, they'll take our oil absorbent, our sphagnum peat moss, and they'll come in and they'll start agitating this stuff into the roof. The truth of the matter is, if you do this thing right, you can use one of our current bags of spag, which is 3 pounds, and you should easily be able to clean this thing up. We'll kind of mark, this is a little bit heavy on that, it's probably about 4 pounds, but we'll see when we get to the end how much spag we've got left. So a couple of different things that we found to work out really well for us is you got different types of scrapers. This is more of a 6-in-1 tool, kind of got a little bit of a flexible blade on it. You really don't want to go in and get this point poke down into this roof and take a chance of putting damage to the roof. So kind of our favorite weapon of choice is either going to be something like a tape and bed knife. This one happens to be a 4-inch. What we really like is flexible, okay? And if you're carrying just your standard 3-inch scraper, just try and get flexible. So what we're going to do is this. If we get into the roof bed, what we don't want to do is come down and poke a hole in the roof. So what we'll simply do is we want to skim right across the surface and just see if we can get up underneath this. And kind of test and feel. I'm going to rake some of this stuff back. If you feel like that you're getting into the roof too much, then what you can do is you may choose to use more of a raking technique where we pull back towards us. And what that'll do is it'll keep you from getting those points poked down into that roof. So that's working out pretty well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and just kind of scrape this stuff up, gather it in a pile. Now you can carry trash sacks and things like that. We do a lot of services, so kind of our weapon of choice is we'll take our pillow, our pillow out of our bag that it comes packed in. These are great whether you're doing repeat services to throw your old pillows in, but we use these things all the time. We'll come in, start scraping that grease up. That works as our trash sack. So what we're going to do here is we're going to proceed on, give this thing a quick hand scrape. I would imagine that it's going to take us somewhere around 20 minutes to scrape this up. It looks big, but it'll actually clean up pretty quick. So here in a minute, we'll kind of come back to this video and show you guys where we pick it up from. One quick thing before we shift to that. Whenever we get and do our standard Driploc service, we always like to come in, kind of clean up around the curbs. Usually we're installing a system. That would be more where your stiffer scrapers, you know, we'll come in here and kind of put a scrape on some of this, take some of that old grease off, you know, get this area stripped back. If we leave that grease there, all it's going to do is turn around and melt back in the summer sun and be right back on the roof. So do a good quality scrape job the first time. We'll put down the oil absorbent. You're going to find you get great results without having to wash. So we'll come back to you here in just a minute.